Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody. All right, live on YouTube, live on X. We'll get this bad boy going on Instagram, and we are all set. What is going on, everybody? Good morning. Thank you very much for being here on this fantastic Friday. What do we got? Friday, February 21st, 8 a.m. on the dot. Cheers to everybody enjoying their cup of coffee or their cup of tea or whatever it is that they're having. Appreciate you guys hanging out. Thank you for being a part of the show. This week went by fast. You know, I squeezed in a quick no show on a Wednesday. I don't think I've had that before. I don't think I've called in sick before yet. That's my first. That's my first time. I got nobody else filling in for me if I'm sick. But we're rounding up the week. Feel a lot better. Feel a lot better, I'll tell you now, than I did a couple days ago. Just had no energy. I don't know what the hell was going on. I got a good quote for everybody this morning. Here's the quote of the day. For those who don't know, every single morning we try to put out some type of a quote, maybe gain a little bit of positivity or some type of motivation when you wake up in the morning, you start listening to the Sliwa Show. Smile in the mirror. Do that every morning, and you'll start to see a big difference in your life. Smile in the mirror. Do that every morning, and you'll start to see a big difference in your life. I could use that advice there. A lot of times I look at myself and I'm like, the hell are you doing? The hell's going on, Al? Good little motivational quote there. Good little action right there. Appreciate you guys being a part of the show. We got a packed show today. We got a fun show today. Coming off, obviously, a Lakers W, so we'll spend a little bit of time talking about that win against Portland yesterday. Not that that's a big deal, but a big deal in the sense just to get a W. But let me give everybody just kind of a quick recap or a quick preview of the show. And then as we move along here, I'll take a look at some of your comments. A really fun post-game show last night. Can I say that real quick? Before I give even a preview, I went an hour and 10 minutes yesterday on a post-game show, Lakers-Blazers. So that kind of came out of nowhere. Usually I like to be around between 40 and 45 minutes, but a lot of good comments, a lot of people that had a lot of, their own thoughts about how the Lakers are doing. And a lot of the conversation just kind of went in a, you can say it went in a lot of different directions. So we just kind of rolled with it. But that was a fun post-game show last night. All right, quick rundown of what we got going on today. And then we're going to get the show started. So basically, I think there's going to be a lot of good Laker conversation. Let me kind of tell you where I want to take the show today. So we'll obviously talk a little bit about last night's game. Nothing too crazy. I thought there was an interesting quote yesterday from JJ Redick, kind of, talking about Bron dropped another 40. And I think the question was more about trying to figure out why LeBron is still doing this at this stage of his career. What's the motivation to still be wanting to show up every single night like Bron does? So I'll spend a little time on that. This came up yesterday in one of the questions, and I'll bring it up in this morning show as well. Somebody was asking if I think Lakers got a real shot of making a run. I'll throw this out to Laker fans, and then we can answer this question once I get to the topic of what's a good season this year? What's a season where you're walking away and you're saying to yourself, all right, you know what? That was, I like where we're going. I like where the Lakers are heading. I like the direction of the franchise. Or, if you want to kind of take the stance, which I know a lot of Laker fans typically do this, well, if it's not a championship, it's nothing. Okay, that's fine too. You can always do that. But I'm curious to get Laker fans' expectations because I'm going to be realistic. And I don't think the Lakers are going to be winning an NBA championship, but that's okay. I think there's, times you got to be kind of realistic with yourself of where the franchise is and the direction that's heading. We'll spend some time on that. I also feel like there's been a lot of negativity around Luka, even though it's only 3 games in. I got some question marks about some of, Laker fans' expectations. I got a very, very high bar for Luka. Very, very high bar. And I don't know how other people feel about that, but we'll talk about that as well. Lakers got the Denver Nuggets tomorrow. You know, Denver's won 9 games in a row. They're number 2 spot in the Western Conference, so they're out there balling out, playing some good ball. We got the weekend preview. There was a good video that I'll play towards the end of the show. PK Subban. I hope I pronounce it right. I'm not exactly the biggest NHL guy. He was on ESPN. He was talking about NHL players versus NBA players, how there's a mentality that's completely different. I think it's worth a listen, so we'll play that as well. Thank you for being a part of the show. Appreciate you guys hanging out. Yesterday it was actually kind of really cool. I had some people yesterday who were part of the show that were dishing out left and right these MVP memberships for people, and I appreciate them doing that. Very, very nice of people to do that. But I think 2 different people gave out 5, another one gave out 1. So I appreciate everybody trying to show some love on the show. And, you know, I've said this before. One of my big hopes with this channel and with the show, building the right community, positive community, and, obviously trying to have people that come on here and feel good about the time that they're spending on here and feel good by the time they leave. All right, let's get the show started. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, Slee. Good morning, chat. Good morning, everybody. Happy to see everyone. Let's see what else we got here. And then somebody will just squeeze in one of these. No chance at the NBA Finals. Luka's got to drop 20. I don't think I'm really arguing that one. Throw this one. Delusional Laker fans always think Lakers got to go 82-0. Okay. We're okay with that. We're okay with that. All right, get the show started. All right, so last night Lakers had the Portland Trailblazers. So play the Blazers. I kind of had said this leading up to the game, and I did think they would win yesterday, but I didn't know Luka wasn't going to play. So, I mentioned this in the post game. I kind of didn't care how they won. When you're on a 2-game losing streak and you were playing as good a basketball as you were before, and now all of a sudden you took a couple of L's, and you took L's against teams that, I think most Laker fans would agree, okay, did you really just lose a game against the Charlotte Hornets? The Utah Jazz one, I guess I could understand a little bit more, but the Charlotte Hornets one, there really was no justification for Lakers to lose that game. And whatever happened, but it was a bad loss. It was one of the, I think it was Charlotte's only their 14th win of the year. So certainly a bad loss, a frustrating loss for a lot of Laker fans. And then you got this, game coming up against Portland, second of a back-to-back. Bron's going to play big minutes. Austin Reeves got ejected in the game before, so that he was going to get big minutes, and hopefully he was going to provide something for the Lakers. But before the game started, you saw that Luka and Vando weren't going to go. It's like, all right, that ain't good. Lakers pretty much have the lead the entire game. Did they give up the lead? Yes. At one point, they were up 18. Portland brought it all the way down. I think even tied the game. The biggest lead Portland had was 1 in the game. It's not a picture-perfect game. Way too many turnovers. I think LeBron and Austin Reeves alone, how crazy is this stat? Those 2 players alone had 17 turnovers last night. That's crazy. 11 on LeBron. I heard LeBron talking to Trudell postgame, and he said 9 of those were on him. The other 2 weren't. I was kind of laughing. I'm like, damn, I wish I could say only 9 of the 11 turnovers were on me. But at the end of the day, it was a win for the Lakers. Puts them 12 games over 500. Puts them at least in a position where we can all sit there and say, okay, hey, with this game coming up tomorrow at Denver, at least they're not on this 3-game losing streak. At least they can kind of stop the tide for a quick second here. After tomorrow's game against Denver, they got some home cooking. They're going to have 6 home games in a row. So certainly opportunity for some great momentum there for the Lakers to build on and go from there. So with all that being said, I was just happy that the Lakers found a way to get a win against the Blazers. And I didn't really put too much stock into it. If I didn't put too much stock into it by them winning, I would have been very annoying this morning if they lost last night's game, but they didn't. So take the W. Portland had won 6 games in a row at home, and just kind of move on and get ready for the next tough game that you got coming up. And we all know it's going to come tomorrow. So that's kind of just my quick thoughts on last night's game. I don't put too much stock into it. It's a win they should have had. They did it without Luka. LeBron dropped another 40. Austin Reeves was phenomenal as well. Dorian Finney-Smith, that's a couple games in a row where he's hitting his threes. But obviously, that's not going to be enough or good enough to beat good teams in the NBA. I mean, the last 3 games that the Lakers have played, none of them have been impressive. So we all kind of know and are setting expectations that in order for the Lakers to be the type of team that you're hoping they're going to be, they can't play like they have the last 3 games. Grab that W last night against Portland, move on. You got Denver coming up tomorrow at Denver, and that's going to be a really tough game. So that's just kind of my quick thoughts on the game last night. I want to play something for everybody here. There was a quote, or there was a clip here, and I was, playing this live when it was happening. JJ Redick was asked about LeBron. LeBron dropped another 40 last night, so something to keep in mind right there. And he was asked, I'm not 100%. It was kind of like, it was more kind of explain what you see night to night with JJ Redick. He took a little bit of a different approach. I want you to take a listen to what he said. This is specifically about LeBron.
At halftime, like, there's a staff we're talking before the game, not sure going to sleep last night if he's playing today, and getting word this afternoon that he was in. It's like, man, he really just defies anything that's normal, and not just the physical feats and the plays. It's the mentality. He is, again, I believe I saw the other day, he's a billionaire. And he's playing on the second night of a back-to-back at 40 after 22 years with every freaking record and every accolade. And the kids will say that I'm glazing him. He's one of the greatest competitors. And Nate and I were talking about before the game. It's like, he's amazing to coach. He brings it every single day. Like, he sets the standard for how you're supposed to approach this craft. And that's, to me, the most incredible thing. It's just the mindset to do it, get up the next day, do it, get up the next day, do it over and over and over again. And I told you.
All right. There's a reason why I want to play that. And let me get this back where I need it. There's a reason why I want to play that. There's a reason why I wanted to, spend a quick second on that. And I think, if I tell you from my seat, from my perspective, I could tell you guys, as I sit here in my role and I talk a lot of Lakers basketball and I interact with a lot of Laker fans, and there is a real love-hate relationship with LeBron that I notice day to day when I'm doing my gig. Okay. And this has been going on for a while. I mean, remember, I was doing Lakers talk on 710 ESPN for 8 years. So before LeBron was even a Laker. So I've got the whole experience with LeBron as a Los Angeles Laker since he first arrived in LA. And then obviously we were all following him when he was in Miami or when he was in Cleveland or wherever he was. The thing I really like about JJ Redick, his quote right there, I think sometimes, there's going to be hate on LeBron, or even right now, I guarantee you there's comments, which I'm not looking at right now, but I guarantee you there's going to be comments in here that say, oh, look at Allen. He's kissing LeBron's ass. I think in a sport and in a league where a lot of times it's tough to have true respect for some of these players, because you're going to say, are they even really trying? Oh my God, look how much money he's making, and he's load managing or something like that. You never really have that conversation about LeBron. You don't. when JJ says that this man shows up to work every single day and does the same exact thing over and over again, I was thinking this morning, I'm like, what is his motivation at this point? Like, why is he still doing it? Is he doing it because he's still really good? I've said this before. I really don't care about people's opinion on LeBron. It doesn't mean anything to me. And I've had plenty of people, family members, friends. I can't stand LeBron. Okay, why? Well, I can't stand because he gets too involved in politics. Okay, can you put that to the side and watch it? No, I can't. All right, is what it is. There's nothing I can do about that. But I do hope that people at least kind of can respect this guy's weight. He's still doing it at 40. He dropped 40 yesterday in a Lakers-Blazers game that if he's not on the floor, Lakers end up losing that game. Luka's been a Laker now for a few games, handful of games, just using this as an example. And in every game that he's played, he's been better than Luka so far. Hopefully that changes very, very soon. When AD was a Laker, there were a lot of games where we'd bitch and complain about Anthony Davis. Not to say that we wouldn't do that about LeBron as well, but we'd bitch and complain about Anthony Davis. And there'd be nights where it's like, well, LeBron is bringing it, where was AD in the fourth quarter or in the final couple of minutes, whatever the case is. Put that all to the side for a quick second. I'm trying to think here, and I was thinking about this morning, like I mentioned. And I'm trying to think, what is his motivation at this point? What is it? What's LeBron trying to prove at 40? Because if he stopped playing the game, let's say he passed Kareem and he got the all-time scoring record last year and it was like, guys, that's it. I'm done. What am I still here for? I'm trying to think. I'm like, what's left for him to prove? If the argument is, well, he's still on the floor because he wants to be considered the greatest of all time, and the only way he can surpass Michael Jordan in the greatest of all time, if that's who people believe is the greatest of all time, is longevity. The only way that he could pass him is by being in the sport for as long as he possibly can and doing things that nobody's done at his age. Okay, maybe that's, an argument you're going to make if you're sitting there and you're saying, okay, well, Jordan's got 6 rings, LeBron's only got 4. Well, then Michael is better, but LeBron played till he was 42 and holds all these different records. Like, I actually genuinely don't know what his motivation is still at this age. Maybe he still believes I can go get one more championship. Maybe he thinks, this is different than Kobe, where Kobe knew in his last couple of years he was not going to be competing for a championship. At least for LeBron, it's like, okay, I know we're going to make the playoffs, and then it's just a matter of how far the team can go from there. But I thought a good perspective from JJ Redick. I really did. I thought it was a good perspective to kind of label LeBron in this way that I think presents a question of like, why is he still doing it? You guys remember on Monday, I had the quote from Hagler. If you guys remember, I was talking about, it's a lot more difficult to wake up in the morning at 5 a.m. and grind when you're sleeping in silk pajamas. Bron's been sleeping in silk pajamas for how long, right? And I'm not saying every person is wired this way. There's a lot of people that are incredibly, incredibly successful, but still continue to, get up the motivation is not work anymore. The motivation is just trying to be the best version of yourself every single day. But Bron obviously still making it happen, still doing his thing. And even at this stage, you kind of wonder, okay, well, is the motivation just as simple as if he's got a small chance of a NBA championship, then, that's enough for him to wake up every morning? Is it, well, the only way I'm going to be considered the greatest of all time is longevity. So let me do this for as long as I can. Let me try to break every single record as I possibly can. If his body is healthy, he's just going to go as long as he possibly can. But he dropped another 40 yesterday. All right, let's take a look at some of the comments here, and we'll go from here. All right, let's see what we got here. Let's see what we got here. Hardest chip 2020. I've heard a few people say that. Let's see what we got here. Bubble championship. Okay, some people say that the bubble championship. Guys, if we're gonna argue on the bubble championship, I don't know what you guys want me to tell you. I'm just trying to take a quick second to just maybe find a different appreciation for what Bron is doing at this stage. And honestly, it's only because JJ Redick said what he said. So the only thing I'll tell you about the bubble championship, I'll just say this. Whether they were in an arena packed with 20,000 fans or they were in Orlando playing in a hotel ballroom, the Lakers had a squad. So it shouldn't have been a surprise if the Lakers won a championship or didn't, right? Like if Miami won the championship, it would be, wow, that's a little bit of a surprise here. But do you remember who was on that Lakers team? So just keep in mind, it was LeBron, AD, Dwight Howard, JaVale McGee, Danny Green, Rajon Rondo, Kyle Kuzma, Alex Caruso, KCP, Avery Bradley, Markieff Morris. That team was stacked. Perfect balance, young players, defensive guys, stars. The bubble championship, okay, you can say, well, look where they won it, but can we not pretend that that team wasn't stacked? The team was stacked. It was one of the top 2-3 teams going in before, COVID stopped the NBA from moving on or from the season stopping when they put an end to it. It's not like Lakers were 10th best odds to win a championship. It'd be the equivalent if right now, if you said pick any team in the NBA, if you said top 3, most people are going to pick Boston, Cleveland, and OKC to win an NBA championship. Well, those would be kind of the odds-on favorite. I'm assuming that's what it'd be, those top 3 teams. If you go back to 2020, Lakers would have been one of the top 3 teams to win it. So it's not like it's a shock or anything like that. Here's one. He can play at an elite level for 3 to 5 more years. You know what I hope? And this is not, fair, but it's just a personal hope. I hope that LeBron in the offseason declines his player option. Again, this is, another man's money. This is he doesn't have to do any of that for anybody. But what I hope happens, I hope he declines his player option, restructures his deal for 2 more years, takes less money, and then the Lakers really go to work in the summer. That's what I'm hoping for. Do I think that's realistic? I don't know. We'll see. Bron has said before that he has would be willing to take less money, but he's obviously had points of his career where he has taken less money. That has definitely happened. It happened when he was in Miami, but we'll see if he's able to do any of that. Here we go here. Gotta love the hate. Everybody be like LeBron, 40 records, blah, blah, blah. LA fans want championships. It's a good transition here. I'm going to star this one here. I'm going to star that one because one of my topics here is what is a good season, and I'll help everybody here real quick. I don't think Lakers are winning a championship, but that doesn't mean they can't still have a successful season and build off of it. All right, let me get one more in here. LeBron is amazing. It really is. What is most amazing is longevity and ability. That is 40. He can do this. However, I still do not put him ahead of Jordan and Kobe as far as comparing. Okay. I was a Bron fan before I was a Laker fan. I've seen every game he's played since 2002. It's a lot of basketball games, and that's probably a lot of good basketball. All right, let's see what we got here. Luka's game will suffer. LeBron needs to be sixth man of the year next year. Okay, let's keep the conversation moving. I'm gonna point out a couple things here. Let me point out a couple here. Sleeve, fans should give Luka time. If Luka leaves the Lakers, we'll be in bad shape for years. Go easy, Laker fans. Yeah, I'm gonna come back to this one too because I got my expectations with, and my barometer is probably ridiculous on Luka, but I have a barometer for Luka, And I don't think, Laker fans should be easy on him. I think the real question just comes down to Luka. What kind of player does Luka want to be? I'll come back to that one. Let me get a couple in here. JJan300, thank you, bro. Your content has been incredible. I appreciate you very much. Thank you, buddy. I appreciate that very, very much. Thank you for the super there. Is JJ talking about LeBron or talking to Luka? I like that. Maybe indirectly trying to say something to Luka Doncic. Maybe indirectly. You know what? I think I'm going to jump on Luka first, and I'll do the other stuff after. Mitch Potter, he wants to win. Okay, there's a good one right there as well. Mitch, thank you for the super. Brian, thank you for the super. I appreciate all the supers here. Let me just say this here real quick, because I've been having this happen a lot now. People are starting to just kind of gift these memberships. Janos Sasbo is gifting 10 MVP memberships to our people here in our community. I had this happen yesterday too during the post-game show. I think it was 11 total, but it was 3 different people. Janos, that's very, very, very nice of you to do that. I can't tell you how appreciative I am of you doing that. For those who don't know, I did start memberships just under 2 weeks ago. And it's a great way to support the channel. It's $3 a month. Already kind of started putting out some exclusive content. The membership side of things is going to grow, and that's going to, I think, organically work itself out to whatever it becomes. But I've talked about how it's a great way to support the channel. Janos, that's remarkable. I really, really appreciate you doing that, and hopefully the listeners appreciate it as well. I'm going to put a link here just so you guys have it. If you do want to be a member and you want to support the channel, you want to support what I'm doing, there's your link right there. But Janos, thank you, brother. I appreciate you doing that very, very much. Okay. I want to go back to this comment here real quick. Let me throw what my expectations are for Luka Doncic as a Laker. Let me tell you, I'm gonna prep everybody for this. They are a little bit they're aggressive. Let's put it that way. They're aggressive. So somebody here saying that if Luka leaves the Lakers, we'll be in bad shape for years. Go easy, Laker fans. I remember doing a video right when Luka got traded to the Lakers. And I'll tell you what one of the first things that went to my mind. And if you guys want to put your own opinion on this of what your expectations are for Luka as a Laker. I remember instantly in my mind, I'll tell you where my mind went. My mind went to Jerry West, Kareem, Magic, James Worthy, Wilt Chamberlain, Kobe Bryant, Shaquille O'Neal, Pau Gasol, LeBron, Anthony Davis. That's 10 players right there. Elgin Baylor, Jamal Wilkes. My mind started going to all these Laker legends. That's where my mind went. When Lakers traded for Luka, the next day, it was either the next day or maybe on that Monday. Lakers traded for him on a Saturday night. Sunday, I did some content. Monday, I did some content. We were pumping out content. And I remember doing a specific portion of thinking about all these Laker legends. Okay. So when I think of my expectations for Luka, he's played 3 games with the Lakers so far. And I mentioned this yesterday when I was doing one of my shows, that I felt like there's been a lot of negativity around Luka so far. It's like somebody was saying, guys, he's going to drop 55 and you're all going to shut up. And I remember last night on the postgame show saying, yeah, I know. We're all kind of waiting for that. When the Lakers traded for Luka, my expectations instantly went to, this guy's got a chance to be a Lakers legend. Now, how do you get there? There's, to say that and to actually get there are 2 completely different things. And I'm not saying here that he's going to accomplish that this year or next year or the year after. I'm assuming that Luka's going to be a Laker for 7 to 10 years. And because he's a Laker for so long, and the franchise will obviously accommodate to him, and they'll make sure that he has absolutely everything he needs to try to win a championship. He's an international player, the whole thing. One of the most popular players right now in the world. But instantly, when the Lakers traded for him, my head instantly went to, oh yeah, that's the next Lakers legend. That's what the Lakers do. It doesn't always work out, but for the most part, if the Lakers get one of those guys, they end up winning a chip, multiple championships. So when I think of Luka and I think of what some of those expectations are, maybe they are unrealistic, but I don't really think they are. I just think it kind of comes with the territory. If Luka stayed in Dallas for 15 years, 17 years, 18 years, however long that he was there, and won an NBA championship, just one. You know what he is in Dallas? He's a legend for life, period. That's what Dirk will be. And I'm not even talking about you gotta win multiple championships. That's not the point that I'm making at all. And I'm talking about in Dallas. But I think in LA, it's, there is a different expectation because of this Lakers brand. The brand is just a brand. That just kind of comes with the territory. My expectations for Luka is that he spends the prime of his career with one of the more popular franchises in the world and is wildly successful. That's one of my expectations for Luka. One of my expectations for Luka is he's an MVP, if not multiple time MVP, wins it a couple of times, is the best player on a championship team, raises the brand even further than it already is, to kind of add to what Rob Pelinka said, that international in Spain and in Europe and in Italy and, different places across the world. He raises the level of the brand where the Laker brand is already big, but now it goes to another level. You could almost say that, you can kind of give similar. You can say that, yeah, the Dodger brand is big. It's next level when you sign Shohei Ohtani. And I know Shohei is one of one, but to be honest with you, what Luka's accomplished by the age of 25, there's a lot of things that he's accomplished that kind of is one of one. So when I look at the expectations for Luka, and I do feel some of the negativity that's come with Luka because of his weight, because of his conditioning, because he's trying to come back from that calf strain that he has, because he hasn't just walked on the floor and just started dropping 40 with 9 and 9, because it's like they're slowly just bringing him back. I think there is this, I don't think it's super unrealistic. I just think it comes with the territory. If Luka's going to be a Laker for the next 7, 8 to 10 years, it is very natural to expect Luka, who's supposed to be a top 5 player in the NBA, to win at least an MVP, if not a couple, and to win at least a championship, if not a couple. That he'll become the next Laker legend. I told you, the bar that I'm setting for Luka, whether fair or not, I think most people know how great of a player that he is, how much of an icon he can become wearing the purple and the gold. Yeah, the expectations are a little crazy. So, like, I go back to this comment here of you should give Luka time, no question about it. I don't think anybody's saying that Luka's got to be great tomorrow, even though, naturally that's going to just come with the territory. But about being in tip-top shape, that's kind of a non-negotiable. Of getting your body perfectly right to make sure that that's not a conversation, we have moving forward about Luka. Yeah, that's kind of non-negotiable. To be in the mix for a chance to compete for a championship year in and year out. Now, that's not all going to be on Luka, but Luka's going to have a lot to do with that. It's going to have a lot to be on Rob Pelinka, on the front office and what the Lakers do positioning-wise and everything else. But yeah, these expectations are going to be, you can't get any higher expectations. If I told you right now, go look at the stars around the NBA. Let's pay attention to stars around the NBA. Does Giannis have pressure on him? Sure. He already won a championship in Milwaukee. He's he's going to be considered a god in Milwaukee for the rest of his life. And if he left tomorrow and left the Bucks, he's still going to be considered a king. Okay, what's that? What's Jokic? Does Jokic really have crazy pressure on him? The guy is a multiple-time MVP and won an NBA championship already for Denver. You could say Embiid has pressure, but he also is dealing with his own health issues and injuries and things along those lines. Shea, you can say, has got pressure, but Shea is so young. Like, Shea's got a runway here, and so does Luka as well. But the expectations that come with a squad like the Lakers and a player as good as Luka is, yeah, those expectations are going to be super, super high. Let's keep that one in mind. All right, let's keep looking at some of these comments here. Thank you, Lamatti, for becoming a new YouTube member. Thank you very much. I appreciate you very much. All right, let's start looking at some of the comments here. There's a lot. Embiid is cooked. You might be right. I don't know what to tell you. You might be right. Unfortunately, you might be right. Let's see what we got here. Luka's talent is the truth. Okay. Said truth is Luka needs time to start balling, but every game between now and then, he will get flamed by weird fans, same way to trash AR when he has a bad game. Yeah, I think there's a little bit of just territory that comes sometimes with certain teams, fair or not. Let's see what else we got here. Nico fleeced LA. All right, that's the first time I've seen that one. Okay. Luka has big shoes to fill being on the Lakers. This is the Lakers championship or bust every year. I don't agree with that. I really don't. I know that's been the mantra, maybe under Dr. Jerry Buss and the way the Lakers were, the way the NBA was geared before. I don't really see. Let me kind of give you my thoughts on that. Championship or bust every year. So if the Lakers this year, in the middle of the season, trade for Luka, and then right after they trade for Luka, they get to the NBA playoffs, win a round, and in the second round get eliminated. But you get a really good sense to kind of see, okay, what is it that this team needs? What are some of the holes that they have? They clearly have a player in Luka they could build off of now. And then they get to the offseason, and there's great building blocks that they can take into the offseason, so then they could go maneuver a little bit more. Would you consider that a failure of a season? And you can. If that's what you think, that's completely fine. I don't think I would. I have a little bit more of a feeling about this year that it's not house money, but I don't have expectations for the Lakers to go raise banner number 18. I don't. There's teams that are better than them, period. There are. And I don't think you could really put together a squad with 30 games left in the year, making that seismic of a change to your team, and still think the expectations are going to be, well, they're going to go make a run. Now, I've had this argument with people where they say, hey, if you have Luka and LeBron in a 7-game set, you're as dangerous as anyone. You might be right about that. The problem is after that, there are so many question marks. So that's the area where I think it gets a little murky, in my opinion. Luka just got here. Give him time, because when he starts playing good, everyone's going to start glazing. You're right about that. Luka will make more money with endorsements in LA. This is some people that are saying if he walks away. Yeah, he can't walk away. I mean, obviously, everybody understands that. If Luka decided he's got to be here the rest of this year, he's got to be here next year, after that is what he can decide what to do. If Luka walked away after next season, I mean, obviously, colossal failure for the Lakers. I don't see that happening. I literally see the Lakers just completely accommodating to him whatever he needs. I think they'll accommodate. And I'm imagining, I could be wrong on this, but I'm imagining Luka also. There's a little bit of, hey, if I can get what I need here and go win, I'm sure a lot of his motivation is also going to be about sticking it to Dallas. I'm more of a Laker fan than a player fan, but love it when players adapt to fundamental type basketball. Everything will take care of itself. Go Lakers. Thank you for the chat, buddy. Thank you for the comment. Luka does not want to be a Laker. Yeah, I will tell you this. Mentally, there's a lot of times where that guy doesn't look like he's, fully there. Like it hasn't sunk in to Luka that he's actually a Laker. Right? That portion hasn't happened yet where I think you can sit back and say, yeah, Luka feels like he's a Laker, expects to be a Laker, and everything else that comes with it. Let's take a look, couple more here. Luka looks like a deer in headlights. He's still learning how to be a Laker. I think he's still trying to get over the fact that a team traded him. You're the top person at your company. Everybody tells you every single morning how great you are. Oh my gosh, you're the best. This company can't be successful without you. You're the best, you're the best, you're the best. Bam, you just got fired. It's like, what happened? That's Luka. That's Luka right now. All right, let me go a little bit further here and look at some of the comments. Logan, thank you for the super, brother. Luka is unfortunately in a rough spot. Luka just extended LeBron's career 3 to 5 years. Luka isn't playing second fiddle to anyone. Luka has to be the number one guy. Logan, I'll tell you this, and I actually really do believe this. And listening to guys like Brian Windhorst and some of these other individuals, listening to a couple of the people that I've had on that cover the Dallas Mavericks or used to watch the Mavs on a day-to-day basis, so they can talk about Luka better than I can. I do think there's going to have to be this shift for Luka and shift for the Lakers where everything runs through Luka. Luka can't play off ball. That's not Luka Doncic. It's not. And Luka can't also be hesitant and trying to, be the nice guy and share. I don't think that's going to work to Luka's advantage or the Lakers' advantage for that, in regards to that. I think the question is just going to come down to, when does Luka decide, all right, enough of this shit? I'm just going to be Luka. That's going to be the question, right? When does that happen? That's going to be the bigger question. Logan says, would be better at the Spurs back in Texas. Appreciate the supers, Logan. He'll be fine with the Lakers. Lakers will make sure this is the perfect fit for him. And that's going to be, a lot of this going to be on the front office. We've kind of talked about this before. We could all just kind of sit here and assume certain things, but at the end of the day, Lakers also got to put together the right roster around him. But I got confidence that they will do that. I got confidence that it's kind of what the Lakers do. So I wouldn't be too shocked there. A quick shout out here. Thank you very much to Brad Wallace and the Wallace Firm. Guys, this is the first partner of the Sliwa Show. Brad Wallace is a personal friend of mine that I've known for about 5 years, that when I was at 710 ESPN targeted me personally to do his endorsements, to represent his company. And I'm very appreciative that he's also come to YouTube with me to show support for the show, show support for the channel. And it's my job to also highlight him and his business and see if I can help him out in any possible way. If you or someone was in a serious injury, you should reach out to Brad Wallace. Let him walk you and your family through your legal options. I'm sure it's a very intimidating and daunting process, but let an expert in the field help you, and that's exactly what Brad Wallace is. He can help anyone in the state of California. Specifically, if you've been seriously injured or dealing with the loss of a loved one, you should find out what legal options you have and deserve to obviously have the right legal team backing you. It's Brad Wallace and the Wallace Firm. I can give you a personal introduction to Brad Wallace. I'd be happy, and I hope you guys never need Brad Wallace and the Wallace Firm, but things happen in life. And unfortunately, if things do happen, You just want to position yourself properly. And if any of this sparks something for you or a loved one or a situation or a predicament that you've been in or somebody that you know, I'm going to give you a URL here. Or like I said, I've thrown out my email address plenty of times. You guys know how to reach me if you would like a personal introduction. The website is wallacewins.com/Sliwa. wallacewins.com/Sliwa to get a free consultation. Again, anyone in the state of California, he can help. So shout out to the Wallace firm and shout out to Brad Wallace for continuing to support the channel and support where I'm trying to take this thing. So partnerships are very, very important to that. So shout out to Brad Wallace. Okay. Are we ready to talk little Denver Nuggets here? Let's see what we got here. All right. Here's what we got here. Pelinka should be fired now if you're using your foresight. Dallas won the trade. Y'all traded Joker, toughest matchup, big men wise, for a wing. Crazy. Okay. Let's stay on this here for a quick second. I mean, obviously, we'll not know whether we're not going to know who won the trade for years to come. Minimum, it will be like, all right, let's put it this way. If Luka ends up leaving the Lakers in a year and a half and the Dallas Mavericks won an NBA championship with Anthony Davis and Max Christie and they have success with the draft pick that they got in 2029, then Dallas won the trade. But if Luka ends up staying a Laker, then you're going to need 5, 7 years, 8 years to figure out who actually won the trade. But there's high risk from what the Dallas Mavericks did. I mean, guys, AD, and I hope he's healthy. How long did Anthony Davis play before he got injured? How long did AD play? He played a little bit over a half before he got injured. So something I think for everybody to understand is there's no way of telling who won this trade, but I will tell you most GMs out there, they were going to take a 25-year-old Luka than a 31, about to be 32-year-old Anthony Davis. That's just kind of the reality of it. But I don't think anyone can tell. If you told me right now Lakers can go back, you could undo that trade, I'm not undoing it. And I don't think anybody's undoing it. I mean, look at the criticism the Mavs have got since making that trade. But it's gotta play itself out, because maybe Dallas was right as saying like, hey, we don't think Luka's going to be in the right shape. We don't think Luka is in the right mind for whatever it is, right? Like motivation. Maybe he's going to have injury issues. I don't know. We're going to have to wait and see. We'll have to wait and see. All right, let's see what else we got here. AD injury prone, but he's extremely effective when on the floor. Look at what Philly put up with Embiid. It's laughable. AD is the man. I don't think anybody's questioning that. I think AD is absolutely. Again, I don't think anybody's questioning that Anthony Davis is the man. At least I'm not. Okay, Lakers got a game coming up tomorrow. They got the Denver Nuggets. A tough game tomorrow. Guys, you ready for this? Good barometer game for the Lakers tomorrow. Phenomenal barometer game for the Lakers tomorrow. I was looking at some of the stats here, or I was looking at the standings. So something kind of interesting happened yesterday in the standings. The Nuggets won their 9th game in a row. They moved up to the number 2 spot in the Western Conference. The Nuggets keep moving up. I mean, I think there was a time where I can't remember if the Lakers passed Denver, but Denver's been balling out. They've won 9 of their last 10 games. They're 37-19. They're 18 games over 500. They're playing as good as anybody in the league right now. So give Denver just an incredible amount of credit. And, you know, the timing of when the Lakers play them is interesting. I like the timing of where the Lakers are sitting right now. And this is what I mean by that. I like the timing of the Lakers getting Denver at this stage. Luka didn't play yesterday. All right, he's probably going to play tomorrow. Denver's the hottest team in the NBA. All right, let's see what you got against a team like Denver. The atmosphere is going to be hostile. I think that, the fact that Denver has kind of dominated the Lakers over the last couple of years. What are they in the playoffs? In the playoffs against the Lakers, the Nuggets, over the last 2 years, the Lakers are 1-8 against Denver. Denver has eliminated them from the playoffs 2 years in a row. Western Conference Finals, got swept. Last year, lost 4-1. And now all of a sudden your team looks wildly different. So whether AD was there or not, Jokic was still going to get his. But now AD is not there. So now how much of a disadvantage does it become against Jokic and Aaron Gordon and Michael Porter Jr. and Jamal Murray, and kind of go down the list of some of these contributors, for the Denver Nuggets. So I'm excited about tomorrow's game. I like games like this. My expectations, or my hope, is this against Denver. My hope is that we got a game. My hope is that we go into the fourth quarter and guys like Rui, Gabe Vincent, Dorian Finney-Smith, all these kind of ancillary players, Jared Vanderbilt, Jackson Hayes, multiple guys are contributing. That Lakers kind of walk into that game as, hey, this is a great test. But the other thing that I'm really hoping for more than anything else, I want to see Luka in this environment. I already know what LeBron's going to do. I know what Reeves is capable of doing. But you traded for Luka not because of just this year. You traded for Luka because the idea and the concept is, what's the future going to look like? And what's this player going to be able to bring to the table from a future perspective? What more can you ask for than playing at Denver against the best player in the world, against the team that is the hottest team in the NBA, who's won 9 games in a row, against the team that's eliminated you from the playoffs 2 years in a row? And here's Luka Doncic finally playing against a team in a Laker jersey where it's like, bro, if you don't ball out, Lakers are going to lose. How much fun is that? How much fun is that that's the kind of environment that's being set up for tomorrow, that this is going to finally be the game. And I've mentioned this to you guys before. I want to see Luka in atmospheres where this is the first time Denver's going to see Luka in a Laker jersey. The place is going to be just what it is. I went to 2 of the playoff games. When the year the Lakers got swept, they got to the Western Conference Finals. I went to 2 of the playoff games, both in Denver. The atmosphere is unbelievable. Unbelievable atmosphere. It's kind of all set up for tomorrow. I think that's going to be a phenomenal game. I think it's going to be a really, really fun game, and I'm looking forward to it. But tomorrow is going to be one of those games where if Luka has another 14, 15, 16 points and struggles, Lakers are going to get their asses kicked. It's the Nuggets. It's going to have to be one of those games where Luka goes off. He's phenomenal. LeBron's phenomenal as well. I mean, if this is going to be a game in the fourth quarter, if we're going to be sitting there with 6 minutes left to go and saying, damn, this game can go either way, you're going to need Luka Doncic. You are. So that's what's kind of set up for tomorrow, and I'm looking forward to that. I think that's going to be a phenomenal experience. All right, let's see what some of the people are saying here. Easy 12-point loss tomorrow. If Luka's going to ball out, he's got to be the number one guy. There's been a little bit of this. I think Luka trying to be too nice sometimes. I don't think that's going to work. I don't think that's going to work. I think Luka's either got to be a killer or he's not. The real question isn't about Joker. It's about who's going to stay in front of Jamal Murray. William, you're right about that. And it's not even just Jamal Murray, even though I think Murray is obviously a phenomenal player. And when he goes off, the Denver Nuggets are almost impossible to beat. But is Aaron Gordon getting looks? Is he getting shots? Is he getting offensive rebounds? Is Michael Porter Jr. contributing as well? They got, they obviously got a few guys that can make it happen. The next stretch of games will be a true test for the Lakers and to see how they're going to be able to match up with bigger sized squads. Good point. It's a good point there, Tommy. Yeah, there is a little bit of, can your small ball, how much can your small ball be effective against teams like this? And there's kind of a little bit of an advantage for the Lakers that teams don't really kind of know what the Lakers are yet. I don't think the Lakers know what they are yet. So I think there's a little bit of that as well. All right. I want to, got a couple things that I want to do here real quick. So I mentioned there's some, we do this on Fridays. We do it on Mondays. We do the weekend preview. We do the weekend recaps on Monday, the weekend preview on Fridays, obviously. I got a couple things that I want to get into in the weekend preview, but there is a clip that I want to play here before I get into the preview. I don't know how much you guys were watching. I don't know how much you guys were watching any of the hockey that was going on with USA and Canada. I wasn't, but I know how much love and interest it was getting and how much respect they were getting. And there was a lot of comparisons being made between the between the NBA and the NHL. There's a guy who used to be in the NHL, PK Subban, and he was on First Take, and he was kind of laying into the difference between the NHL and the NBA. I want you guys to take a listen. I think you guys will like this. I think it's very interesting of the point that he's trying to make. So let me fire this thing up for you guys here real quick so you guys can see it, and then we can get into it. Let's take a quick listen.
Really about sports, then you're about two things, your teammates and the fans. And I'm sorry, it doesn't matter how much money you're making. When you do not show up to play, you're letting your teammates down. When you do not show up to play, you're letting the fans down that are paying you 40, 50, 60 million. I don't care if you're getting 300 million. Congratulations. But these people in here are paying $2,500 a ticket, $5,000, that are blue-collared, hardworking people. If you don't get your head wrapped around that, you shouldn't be in pro sports, because how are we going to grow? How do we expect you to be an example? Well, guess what? You don't want to be. You are one. You're on the biggest stage. You just said it. They make the most money. You're an example. You got to show up. You got to take that on. I'm sick and tired of making athletes greats, all-time greats that aren't the best examples. Those are the people that we want our kids to follow, that we want athletes to follow. That helps us in our game. Stephen A., you want athletes to be educated on this and understand this. They got to understand the importance of showing up to the All-Star game and being on the court and playing banged up sometimes and playing injured maybe at times. Thank you. And participating, because here's the thing. Because you're making 100, 200, 300 million, you should be out there banged up. You should be. That's why we pay you, is to max out. We talk about greatness and it being the longevity of somebody's career. I don't care if you play 50 years. I want your best 10. I want you on the court dominating. I want you to go all out. I want Michael Jordan. I want Kobe. That's what I want in every sport. That's the guy that I follow. You're a different version than that, you don't get my respect.
All right, that's like I mentioned, PK Subban, who is clearly, tearing into the NBA. And there was a lot of chatter about how NHL these last couple of days, what they've done, and Canada and USA obviously playing against each other, but the pride, I guess you can put it, of representing their country, the pride of wanting to win, even if these are exhibition or however you want to call it. And I think it all kind of goes back to what we've been talking about with the NBA All-Star game and the NBA just in general, and the product right now. How much are people really respecting the players? How much are people really respecting the league? Is an interesting perspective. That's definitely an interesting perspective there. He had his thoughts, definitely had his thoughts. And I think there's a little bit of those who are frustrated with the league is okay. So somebody says, dude is just hating on the NBA for clicks because that's a fun thing to do. I think there's some I think there's some truth about, I think it's more about the way the players in hockey approach the game versus the players in basketball approach the game. I think that was the idea. That was the concept. Anyways, that's an NHL player. So he's obviously going to be talking about his team. But at the end of the day, I don't think it has as much to do with just an all-star game. I think it has more to do with the way players approach today's NBA. So that's the best way that I can put it. Okay, a little bit here that I want to mention as well as far as the weekend preview. So really, it's more about games coming up this weekend. Some good games coming up. So Lakers obviously got their game coming up tomorrow against Denver, like I mentioned. Knicks Cavs tonight. That could be a good Eastern Conference matchup. Would they face each other? They'd have to pass Boston. Yeah, they could face each other. If it's that 1-4 matchup, something along those lines. So Knicks and the Cavs should be a good one, something to keep in mind. Timberwolves, Rockets, I mean, there's a little bit riding there just because the Rockets are still in front of the Lakers, so I'm sure a lot of Laker fans want to see Minnesota win that game, even though Minnesota's playing a little bit better. I mentioned Lakers Nuggets. That's going to be tomorrow on ABC, ESPN at 5:30. So something in regards to that. And then the only other games I really wanted to mention after that, Knicks and the Celtics coming up on Sunday as well. That's a 10 a.m. tip-off. Mavericks and the Warriors are going to be at 12:30. Both of those games on ABC, so something to keep in mind in regards to that. Thunder and the Timberwolves will play each other on Sunday night. Grizzlies and the Cavs on Sunday night as well, or at 4 o'clock. So some good games coming up here in the NBA. Weekend preview presented by the Wallace Firm. Need legal help for a serious injury? The Wallace Firm are proven trial lawyers. Go to wallacewins.com/Sliwa to learn more. Get that free consultation. Let's read a couple more of these comments, and then we're going to call it a week. I appreciate you guys hanging out and being a part of the show all morning and a part of the post-game show yesterday and everything else. So I appreciate it. All right, let me look at a couple comments here. Playoffs are more important. That's just reality. It's bad to wear your body out of the whole regular season when you're 35 plus. Honestly, the ownership is just as much responsible as the players with protecting their investments. True. I agree with that. Let's see what else we got here. Slee, underrated move. South Bay Lakers traded for former Laker Cole Swider yesterday. Okay. PK speaking the truth. Everyone jealous NBA players get and can do what NBA players get and what can do compared to other sports. Slee, okay, got that. Oh, okay, got that. Okay. All right, I think we're good, my people. I think we're good. This is one of the few shows where we basically just went an hour. Yeah, solid stuff today. I appreciate you guys being a part of the show. I'm back on tomorrow post game. So after the Lakers take on the Denver Nuggets, I'll be here. I know Sammy's going to be working on a preview video, so that's going to be coming up. Thank you for being a part of the show, everybody. Thank you. Fantastic week. I'll see you guys tomorrow night after Lakers play Denver. Please subscribe to the channel if you guys don't mind. And if you want to be an MVP member, it's $3 a month. Thank you, everybody. Have a great rest of your day, and we will talk to you guys tomorrow.